The next thing we want to look at is the image element. And this is used to show an image on your window. I want this to have a width of 100 and a height of 100. I want this to be down below the text element. I'm going to give it an X of 10, why not, and a Y of 150, so that it is below this text element, which happens to be at 100 in Y coordinates. Okay, if we run the application like this, we're not going to see anything. Okay, that's because we didn't specify the source property for the image that we want to show. There are 3 different ways you can specify an image that you want to show in an image element, and we're going to look at the first one. One thing you can do is show the image that is located in the working directory of your project. And what is the working directory of our project? Let's go to projects here, and you can see that we are working with the build settings. Click on the run settings, and you are going to see your working directory here. In our case, it is this location here. So I can actually copy the entire thing, hit Control A and Control C to copy. You can do equivalent commands on a Mac. I am going to go in my file system and paste in this location. Okay, I'm going to go there, and I am going to paste in an image that I had prepared on my drive. It is a simple image. So now that we have the image in our working directory, we can say File, say the name of the file, and pass in its extension. And if we run the application now, we should see our image in this location. Let's run the application. You see Learn Qt here. This is the first way you can pass your image. The second way is to store this image in the resource folder of your project. And the way you do that, even if you look here, you see that we have a resource file that contains our QML files. It is this QML QRC file. But we can add our own resource file to this project. So we can click on the project, add new, choose Qt, choose resource file, and choose that. Give it a name. We're going to call it resource. Hit finish. And you see that this file is opened here. It is saying resource.qrc. And you may notice that it is the same extension as this QML QRC file. Okay, so we want to add a prefix, which is what we would start our paths with if we wanted to point to a file that is in this resource file. Hit enter because we don't want any prefix. And you can click on add files like this and choose a file in here. But before we do that, I'd like to go where our main QML file is stored by right-clicking on it and choosing Show in Explorer. And I am going to add that image of ours in the images folder that I am creating right now. Okay, I am going to paste in the image. You can see that it is the same image. And now that I have the image, I can add files, choose images, and choose our image here. Now I can go back to our QML file, specify a second image. And by the way, you see that it is saying that this file or directory does not exist. Ignore this. It is just Qt Creator not recognizing that this file is actually existing. We are going to position this thing at 150. And here we are going to specify the image from the resources. All you really have to do is to specify the path to the file relative to the location of the main QML file. And it happens to be in a folder called images. And you can see that Qt Creator directly recognizes that that file is existing. I think we should also note that we are loading the image from the working directory in this first image here. And in this case, we are loading. Okay, let's run the application. Learn Qt. The first one is coming from the working directory. The second one is coming from the resource file. There is another way we can do this, and that is by specifying the full path to the image that we want to show. Let's copy the image, show it at location 300. Why not? Okay, if you look on my drive in the D artwork folder, I have this image here. So I'm going to copy its path. Note what we are doing. And what we can do is say file, specify 3 slashes like this, and specify the path to the file. We are going to use backslashes and say learn Qt PNG because that's the image that we want to use. If we run the application, we are going to see the same image, but it will be coming from the full path of the image. I can't close this lecture without showing you that you can also load images from the internet by specifying a URL to the image. I am going to extend the width of the item element to 600. Run again. And you're going to see that we have a little more space to work with. I am going to go to our website and just grab some image. Okay, so I'm going to copy image location. And if I paste this in another tab, you're going to see that this is the path to this image and we see it in our browser. So what we can do is copy this, come back to Qt Creator. We are going to store this here. I don't want to type all these things, so I am going to just copy this, put this here, and grab our URL to the image and use it as the source property for our image here. We also want to move the image to the right because we don't want it to overlap with this image here. Actually, let's do that because I want you to see this. I don't think that I showed you this. Let's run. You see that this is the image that is coming from the internet. But one thing is happening here. You are seeing that the image from the internet is overlapping with the image that we had that was coming from the full path, which is this one here. So you have to be careful to not make your elements overlap if that's not what you want to achieve, because this can be very hard to debug. So what we're going to do is put this image at X of 450. And if we run, things are going to be normal. Here is our image from the internet. Okay, this covers all we set out to do in this lecture. And I hope by now you have a better idea of how you can work with item, rectangle, text, and image, and how you can use item to group items together. In the next lecture, we're going to show you how you can build your own items by combining some of the items we've seen in this lecture. I'll see you in the next lecture.